Creatively known as J. Artis, is an artist in education and one of the founders of the Soul Sessions here in Columbia. Please welcome Josh to the stage.
All right, thank you. Hey, can y'all give it up for Melita, Crystal, Dr. Neville, the Bold Academy? It's a blessing and honor to be here on the stage giving praise to the Most High. I'm going to start this off by just talking a little bit about who I am. For those who I haven't had the pleasure of meeting, if you have not met me, I am Josh Runnels, creatively known as J Artist. I do a lot of things. People know me as a artist, people know me as a singer, vocalist, writer, a youth educator. Some might know me as a visual artist. But to simplify all of the many things, all the many hats that I like to wear, I simply call myself an artist and educator. Going back to the story of how I became an artist. 4 years old is probably the most furthest memory that I have. Growing up in church, I'm the youngest out of 5 children in a household with my mom. She was a beautiful, nurturing person that took care of everyone. She fostered community within that household and it expanded beyond to the church. She led youth programs while my dad was a leader leading adult programs in church. If anyone has ever been to any of the programming that we've done, I sometimes joking but seriously, consider it church. It feels like church. We go to get fed there. I got fed when I was a child, going back to 4 years old, running the hallways of my church, watching my brothers and sisters sing, direct choirs, lead choirs, sing praise and worship, and also educate. It was inevitable that I would become a sponge as the youngest to also soak up all the knowledge, all of the things that I saw them doing, and then begin to just naturally do it in my later years. With art and education about art and culture, I find it very significant that I use art as a tool. The way that I like to use art as a tool is limitless. However, starting back to those early years in church is one of those foundations for most artists. I was talking to one of the musicians backstage, and we both came to the agreement that a lot of the best musicians actually started playing in church. And it's no coincidence due to the fact that church, or the African-American gospel music genre that we know it today, has become prolific in being a pioneer for all other genres, whether that's jazz, whether that's blues, whether that's R&B, whether that's hip-hop, whether that's soul music. One thing I like to champion is understanding the origins of where we come from. Going all the way back to ancient time, my Afrocentric history, I noticed that I naturally get in front of audiences and I do something like this. If you're feeling good, let me hear you say yeah. What we just did was what you call a call and response. Now, we hear this all the time. You know, we're working with students in the education realms, but what we don't know sometimes, or we overlook sometimes, is that call and response goes back to origins, to any native land in tribes. Before we had communities the way we see it now, one of us or all of us may have been in tribes, or our ancestors may have been in tribes, and we use call and response as a way to communicate to one another, to connect with one another. And so with that being said, it's natural that I'm going to do that as well. So I'm going to get on this stage later and do it later, and I want y'all to say it with me, okay? Cool. All right, going forward, art and education. I'm moving. I don't know what I'm doing in my life. I'm a kid. I'm just soaking up things. I'm soaking up information. Don't know who I am, but the more important question is why I am. We're going more into passion and purpose. I'm 18 years old. I just finished doing spoken word club at my high school. About 14 years old, I recorded my first song, but wasn't nothing important. I wasn't a singer. I wasn't a recording artist. Moved to 18. I'm graduated from high school. I'm a writer. And I'm literally finding myself in positions where I keep facing these moments where a question keeps coming up for me. Who are you? Who am I? Who are you? Who am I? And it's easy to just be like, oh, I'm Josh, of course. But my dad caught me one day and he said, "Who are you?" And I said, "Josh." "Who is Josh?" It confused me. It's a question that we all come to at one point in time, and identifying who we are or why we are is really important. So let's go ahead to our next slide. The mission that's important for anyone, the mission that's important for me is identifying how art and education about art and culture will be able to foster community. And so in these 4 programs, that's essentially what a team of us are doing in Chicago and here in Columbia. What's important for anyone is to have a mission or have a leader with a vision or a mission, because what it does is it allows you to make sure you know exactly where you're going and why you're going. So Youth Art Initiative is something that I later found out in life that, this is really fun to me. I connect with an age group of students, mostly high school and college level students, young adults. And I think what I love the most about connecting with that age group is I help them identify these same questions that I was asking myself. And so one thing about me that I remember when I was in high school was that I felt like school was very boring. I was disconnected from the academic courses that were pushed on us, and still to this day. And I didn't know how to connect these courses to life. And so some of you may have known that I've been able to teach life skills curriculums, and the way that I do it is through this Youth Art Initiative, spoken word poetry, but mostly the foundation of creative writing. When it comes to creative writing is very important because what it does, it allows you to have a conversation with yourself and be able to filter your thoughts out on paper and outside of your head. When you're able to see what is circling in your thoughts outside of yourself, you're able to look at it different and be able to map that out, and with the right instruction, organize that and pretty much write your life's trajectory moving forward with reflection on your past. And so that youth initiative is something that I'm building towards more in Chicago. Right now I'm working with Simeon High School. I get a chance to meet with those students after school, and we work on that. The Music for Thought vodcast, if you got your phones, you can go ahead and pull out your phones. Go to YouTube. If you type in Music for Thought, you'll see me and Justin Famous, my colleague. We're doing a vodcast. We call it a vodcast, video podcast. And essentially, what I like to call it is a tiny desk meets podcast. So essentially, we get on there. We have a great time. We have a live house band. And we usually invite artists to come onto that show and perform original music. A house band plays behind them, and then we sit down and have a conversation about the song. And so it invokes great questions that equip us with life skills to be able to handle it, but also create intentional music so we can talk about it. So check that out. Special events and production. Anyone that's been to Soul Sessions, say yeah. So Soul Sessions is one of those types of programs. If you've been there, you might come in there, you might see live art. You'll see, vendors, black-owned vendors. You'll see people dancing, line dancing in unison. You'll see a DJ spinning. You'll see a band. You'll see rappers singing. You'll see people just joyously having a great time communing. And so that community is what we foster here, and we do that through a number of ways, and that's just one of the ways that you may have heard of or seen. And last but not least, I get to be an artist, a J artist. My name is significant. People always say my name with an accent, and which I don't mind as long as you say it with confidence. So if it's JRTs, no question mark at the end. JRTs? Nope. JRTs. I love the way you say it when you say it like that. But essentially, it's just J artists. What is the most simplified definition of art? One asked me that question one time, and what it did is it led me on a search. Now, if you Google search that right now, it depends on your algorithm of what you've been doing and where you are when you're searching on your phone. However, what I identify as the most simplified definition of art is that art is. The state of being is the most important part of you, not only identifying your mission, but knowing who you are and what your passion and your purpose is. And so J-Art is just a sample of how I like to express myself, not only through my name, but through my artistry in all facets. Let's go to that last one. These are just different examples of stats of why arts and education about art and culture is important. Essentially, I like the one in the middle I'll highlight here. Essentially just says that it makes life worth the living. It makes you want to be more inclusive, want to want to be more focused on your community. Arts is one thing that brings us together. And so these are just different facts that allow us to come together and understand why fostering community through arts and education and culture is important. And I'll have to give you a second to look at that. My daughter, who's 4 years old now, she naturally is an artist. She sings all day. It drives me crazy sometimes, but I can't be mad at her because that's what I do too. I sing all day. The only thing I would like her to do is put more words to your songs and be more intentional. And so at 4 years old, that's a lot of pressure, correct? And so with that being said, one thing she said to me after I identified that, oh yeah, I have high expectations on you. I'm expecting you to know what 1 + 1 is and 2 + 2 is. And she struggles with math with simple things. And then I started to create a song. And naturally, she picked it up like never before. And I said, oh, look at what art can do, creation. And so I want to encourage everyone here to use art and education about art and culture in your everyday lives. We all, by our Creator, were created to create. And so as long as you do it with that intentionality, the state of being is essentially what I identify as art. So go ahead and be free and create, y'all. And if you want to support artists, it's your boy here, J Artist. You can pull out your phones, go ahead and pull out your phones and go to your camera. You can click that QR code. In that QR code, you'll find the Music for Thought Vodcast episodes. You'll find some of the music that we shared. Tonight, we're going to perform some of that music. Fight It is my most recent song. And then just support local art groups. If you can, donate to art companies when they're raising funds for different initiatives. And we're going to keep moving things forward with the different initiatives that we have here in Columbia, Chicago, and to the world. With that being said, thank you. I appreciate you all listening.